So namaskar all venerables and hello to all of people. The first thing I want to apologize for my English because it's maybe not easy to understand because I did not learn much in my life, but I will try to make it as easy as I can. So today the topic is about the survival of Buddhism in the new normal. I think Buddhism don't need to worry about survival because it's there all the time. But the problem now is the Buddhist people, how Buddhist people will survive in this situation. Actually, if we look back in the past, we can see that in the past it's very old way of living, and then the old way of living, people practice a lot and then they learn a lot without reading or listening much. But later on, we move back to normal era. We learn a lot, we read a lot, listen a lot, and we suffer a lot. And now it become the new normal era. So we'll even more suffer than before. When I look at this period of time, I think, how can we survive in the new normal time? The easiest way, just go back to the old way, not the normal way. The normal way is about they encourage us to consume as much as we can. So the more we consume, the more we suffer, and we learn to consume until we don't know how to produce. But when something interrupts the system of consumption, we suffer more than normal. So I think if we go back to the old way, I don't mean that we need to go back to live like a old style, but we need to bring old technique from that time to use in this daily life. It will be a lot easier. And now there are many people in Thailand who start to go back to that old way. The old way we call now is self-reliant system. We come back to learn to practice to be self-reliant. When we learn to do self-reliance, it means we need to rely on the four basic needs: food, shelter, daily needs, and healing. So these four things, it has to be easy for everybody. It used to be very easy for everybody for many hundred years, many thousand years. But when we come back to normal eras, we were cut off. We were disconnected from this knowledge completely because the school, the education system cut the system that we will learn how to be self-reliant. And now we don't know how to be self-reliant anymore. We need to rely on money system most of thing in our life now. And then when we talk about self-reliant, many people think it's impossible to go back because we don't know anything about it. But actually, how to learn to be self-reliant is easier than learn how to use computer. Learn how to grow food, how to cook food. We can use it. We can learn in 3 months. We know how to do it easily. Learn how to make a house. In a few weeks, you can build a house easily. So how to make things that we use in daily life, it doesn't take long time. So now more and more people come back to this way. I think the new normal, that COVID-19 now, it brings back many people back to the old way of thinking. And they try to implement, they try to develop the old way to make it easier and easier now. So I think if we can prepare our mind for the change, be ready for the change to go back, we will have less problem. But if we are not ready to change, if we are if we want to be the same thing forever, we will suffer a lot. So now, so many people who left the city and they came back home, they start to learn how to rely on themselves more. And then they found that in only 3 months, they can rely on themselves quite a lot. Many of them said, I will not go back to the city anymore. Why I have to work 8 hours per day and don't have enough to eat? When I came back home, I work only 1 or 2 hours. I can feed the family. I can feed myself better. So I think COVID-19 bring people back to the old way of living. Now we call new normal. New normal actually is the end of it. We cannot go further than this. In the normal way, we consume so much. We taught people to consume with no consciousness. We say that if you consume faster and better than other people, you are the successful person. You are the richest person. So we admire them, we praise them as a successful person. But from now on, it may be not like that, because there are not enough resources for consume anymore. So people who come back to the old way of living, come back to the land and develop the soil. No burning, no chemical, no moving leaves or branches away, but move in. Not very long, the soil will be better and better. And not very long, we can grow more tree, more fruit, more vegetable. And the water start to be cleaner, the soil will be more fertile, and everything will come back. Only a few months, many people have seen a change already. So, new normal is mean going back to the old way, old normal. That's the way I see it now. Many people start to come back because we have no hope about the economic system anymore. It seems like we're waiting for COVID-19 to slow down so we can be normal again. But actually, it may not be like that, because now there's not enough natural resources for us to consume as normal before. Now, many people who think like that maybe disappoint a lot in the near future. Maybe the money system collapse, maybe the war happen, maybe energy crisis happen. Many things can happen anytime. Even more pandemic, more epidemic thing happen. We don't know. But if we prepare well, come back to self-reliant way, we will be secure more than anybody. So to be self-reliant in the personal level, in the family level, in the village level, in the country level, we need to plan, we need to think about this. How can we rely on ourselves in the 4 basic needs in every level? That's the way to prepare for the new normal time. So as a Buddhism, I think Buddhism have all the teaching, it just come back to ourselves. But now, most of people did not come back because we believe in money more than the Buddha. We believe in Dhamma less than money or power. So that's why we suffer so much now. It's not real. Money is not real. But natural resources or Dhamma or the truth is real. So we walk away from the truth for a long, long time. To be normal again, we need to come back to normal. The new normal is come back to the normal. If we come back again, our life will be a lot easier than this. So now, even study Buddhism or outer religious, it's the same thing. We did not study Buddhist. We did not study religious for solve our problem. Many people study just want to know, want to be the scholars, want to be the wise person, so they can sell it. That's why many people sell spiritual thing a lot now. They sell nirvana, sell heaven, sell amulet, sell so many things. So this is the wrong way. So the main thing is just come back to ourselves. If we want to be okay in the system, in new normal, we need to come back to ourselves more. Be with ourselves. Observe our feeling. That's the whole spiritual thing. It's about learning our feeling. To understand the habit of our feeling. Why do we need that? Why do we need this? Why I angry at that thing? Why I hate this thing so much? Why do I have to feel like this? If we come back to study this thing, I think it will be easier. So now, this time, if we want to survive happily, if we want to solve the problem easily, just decrease reading, decrease listening, but increase time to observe our feeling, or increase time to practice more and more and more. The more we read, the more we listen, we walk away further and further from the truth. That's what happened. We admire people who know a lot, but we ignore ourselves to come back to the real practice. We need to bring the teaching to our daily life. When we read or listening, it becomes philosophy. And then when we bring it into our life, it will be our life. When we practice it, it will be our life. So when it becomes our life, that's the way we can solve the problem. But when we study so much in the book or listening, it will be philosophy. So philosophy, people don't think the same way. For example, like I have a fruit in my hand. I said this fruit is very sweet. Many people listen to me and they think it's sweet. Everybody remember it's sweet. But what kind of sweetness? Everybody think differently. Some people think it's sweet like honey, sweet like sugar, sweet like a molasses, sweet like a mango. So they think different way, and then they start to teach people different way too. But whenever they taste that fruit, they will say that, oh, it's sweet like this, not like honey, not like sugar, not like mango. It's just like this. But we cannot explain because spiritual language is so limited. We don't use it much. We don't have enough language to explain it. So we can understand it by experiencing of facing it or do it only. So it's the same with the situation now. We don't need to worry about religious, about Buddhism. We have to worry about ourselves that we practice enough? Or do we try to remember too much information? I think this part will help us a lot in this crisis. Whatever happens, if we understand the character of our feeling, our emotion, we can live easily anywhere. We can enjoy life anywhere because there's no problem on this earth. There's no suffering on this earth. There's suffering only in our feeling or in our emotion. But we did not pay much attention to understand our feeling much. That's why we still suffer. So COVID-19, it helped us a lot to bring us back to ourselves more, to be with ourselves more. So we cannot run away from ourselves easily as before. Before that, when we have money, we run away easily. If I don't like this, if I feel lonely, I always go to see the movie, always go to see the concert, go to visit friends. That's the way we run away from ourselves. We never be with our feeling that we feel lonely. So now we cannot run away from COVID-19 crisis. So we have to be with ourselves, with the fear, with the worry that we have no money, we have no way to survive. When we be with ourselves for a while, we will understand it. Because we keep watching it for a long time enough, we will understand it. And then We know what to do after that. So I think I appreciate COVID-19 that happened before we develop further than this. That means if we develop further than this, we have no more natural resource left for us. But now, the COVID-19 slow down consumption of human. It gives time for thousands, millions of microorganisms or animal or plant can survive, can propagate more. That means the new era is coming. We will have more natural resources soon. So in the same time, we need to prepare our mind, to train our mind, to consume only the amount that we need, not consume too much. So new normal is mean come back to think about old way of normal and then bring it back to implement, to apply, to make it fit with our life now, to make it easier and easier. This is what I can see from the eye of a farmer who did not study much, but I love to share the feeling of the voice from people who did not talk much. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone has a questions in here? Okay. Thank you very much for your excellent ideas, and you are very, very optimistic. I wish there are more people like you in the world. The world will be more happy and will be less green. And the way you teach us is really a Buddhist way to do it. But for you and people who have a home in the countryside, they are so lucky that they have a place to go back during the crisis. But can you give any suggestion for the people who live in the city, for example, in the Bangkok, who have nowhere else to go, and there are so many things that they have to compete, their work, the environment, because the environment is many things that negative, tempting for them, to lose their way. So, can you give suggestion for the people how we can learn to be self-reliant in the competing city like Bangkok? Thank you.
I think it's not different between to live in the country or in the city. We are the same. But the main thing, the heart of going to be self-reliant is to come back to practice mindfulness. This is the heart of it. If we cannot practice mindfulness, we cannot be self-reliant. We cannot enjoy our life at all. How to practice is very simple. It just train ourselves to buy only what we need, not what we want. What we need is consciousness or mindfulness. What we want is emotion or feeling. If somebody sell the fancy clothes very cheap price, we have a lot of clothes already. We say we can tell ourselves that, oh, it's want, it's not need. That means it's emotion, it's not consciousness. So just walk away. Even it's very cheap, we don't need it. So if we practice like this, our life will be easy in everywhere. Because most of our expense in our daily life, I think more than 60%, we pay for what we want, but not what we need. This is one thing I think is very important to practice. This is the heart of Buddhism too. And then another thing is, people have to do what they love to do. People have to do what they have ability to do. They love it. So if city people don't have skill, don't want to be in the farm, they don't need to try to be a farmer. But we need to connect together again. The problem now is the whole world, we were disconnected completely. Nobody wants us to know each other. Even ourselves, nobody wants us to know ourselves. So when we don't know ourselves, we don't know each other, we don't know anything. So now it's good time to connect between city people and farmer, organic farmer. If we connect with them, they can send very good organic food to the city people in very cheap price. And city people can go visit them, so you can know where the food come from. So this way, I think we need this connection more, and then it will help us live easily in everywhere. Self-reliant, it doesn't mean we have to do everything ourselves. Self-reliant means rely on each other too. Rely on each other in different level too. Self-reliant, if we do everything ourselves, we don't call self-reliant, we call isolate ourselves.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. George Chandai, happiness farmer and co-founder of Pun Pun. So our next